I'm very excited about this YouTube slash podcast slash blog because I've been wanting to talk about the endocrine system forever, and I had to fully write it all out to tell you about it, because unlike everybody else who's going to be telling you about the endocrine system, I'm including the chakras in this, because I think when you hear about this and how they work in tandem, it's going to blow your mind. And I'm all about blowing your mind over here. Okay. If you don't know me, I'm Candace. I am the founder and formulator behind Luluti Skincare. I am a formulator, an herbologist, a holistic practitioner, an intuitive channel, and a light worker. And I love to tell women, people, this isn't just for women, this is for everyone, about their chakras and the endocrine system. And that is really the mission at Luluti Skincare. We're trying to revitalize you from the inside out so that you can glow. And we do that with herbal remedies, skincare, and ritual. And when you find out about how the system works and how they work so magically together, everything is going to change for you. You're going to start thinking about things on another level. So let's get into it. So what is the endocrine system? The endocrine system, endocrine means crine. It means to secrete. The endocrine system acts like conductors for the hormones in your body to get them to move to where they need to move to work for you. The hormones in your body regulate everything from sleep to your temperature, to your fertility, to your libido, to weight, to hunger, and everything in between. Hormone means harmony. It's what keeps your body alive, vibrant, moving, your metabolism, your energy, all of it. Okay. You have 7 major endocrine systems and you have 7 major chakras. Now, we're going to break down the endocrine system and the chakras in tandem. So before we head over to more information about the endocrine system, let's talk about what are chakras. Chakras are considered energy vortices, okay? And if you think about the energy around the world as being very organized, the chakras are incredibly organized portals of energy based on the energy lines in your body where they coalesce and they meet. Let's say the lines are running parallel to each other. They're running vertical and they're running horizontal. Where those two energies meet, you have what would be considered a ball of light, and that would be considered an energy vortex. Now, you have far more than 7 chakras, and you have major chakras and you have minor chakras, but we're going to cover the major 7 as we talk about the endocrine system, because the other ones work more with the meridian lines in the body and the energy centers of the body and outside of the body. Okay. So for a minute, let's take it back to chemistry class. Now, I was a nerd, so I paid attention to these parts. I don't know if you did, but you don't need to, because I'm here. I'm going to help you out. All right. So you have to remember that everything is energy. And what do I mean that I say that? Okay. So let's take your body, for example. If someone were to zoom in on your body, they would see a cell. If someone were to zoom in on that cell, they would see atoms, tons of atoms. Okay. That make up the construct of the cell, which that cell then makes up the construct of your body, or let's say your liver, a collection of cells, your heart, a collection of cells. Okay. And each of those cells hosts I don't even know how many atoms, but let's say billions. Okay. Now, if you went into, and scientists have done this is what quantum theory is. This is all about the mechanisms of the body. And I'm not even going to go all the way into quantum theory. We're going to keep it to chemistry. Okay. When they zoomed in on that atom, they couldn't find any actual parts. Now, when they zoomed in further, that's when you get to quantum mechanics. It's all about the parts that make up the atom, and those aren't parts either. When I say they aren't parts, there's nothing physical there. It's oscillating energy grids surrounded by oscillating energy grids. So if you were to imagine a circle or a vortex, all right, and the center would be the mass, it would be the heaviest part. It's just energy with weight. It is just movement and weight spinning around itself at an incredible speed. And I'm not going to go crazy with this, but you are 99% space and 1% matter. And where the nucleus is could be in one part of the town, and like the atom would be like a football field away. There's a lot of space in between these two elements, but they work in tandem together to create this part I'm going to tell you, the physicalness of your body. So let's say, for instance, you went to the heart doctor and you had them hook you up to a machine so that they could read the rhythms of your heart. What they're reading is the electrical pulse coming off of your heart. Now, because I'm into the spiritual community, I'm going to tell you that that electrical pulse actually makes the heart, and that it is the collapsing of that matter that you witness is what makes up the physical things around you. And science knows this. Every single thing from the table to the computer that you're looking at this on, or the cell phone, it's all just energy. It's not really there. The reason you can hold it, for instance, is because of the mass of the two objects. They bounce off of each other, which what makes it feel solid. This is not a mystery. This is not woohoo. This is actual science. Ain't nothing there, y'all. Ain't nothing there. Okay. Now, this energy is incredibly intelligent. It organizes itself. That's how the liver is the liver and the heart is the heart. And the crazy part about this energy is when they look into these cells, they recognize that you came from one cell, okay, which is a collection of trillions of little atoms, okay, tons of them, all right, but you came from one cell when you were born, all right? That cell held all of the information for the entire body, and it duplicated itself and duplicated itself and duplicated itself and duplicated itself. And it said, I'm going to be a liver. I'm going to be a heart. I'm going to be a kidney. I'm going to be a testes. I'm going to be an ovary. But it held all of the information of the whole within itself and chose through a certain resonance or vibration, aka a dance or a rhythm or a movement, which emanates a sound and a color, right? It chose what it was going to be, and it acts as that to this day, duplicating itself with all of the information. It could be a heart. It chose to be a testes. That was up to it. All right. Now, this energy is organized. So it breaks down into patterns in the body, and those patterns in the body have a form, and that form is your physical body. And again, we're going back to the endocrine glands here, okay? There are 7 major endocrine glands, and those 7 major endocrine glands work with the 7 major chakras to help your body function. And it's helping your body function on such a physical level. It's kind of insane. And it really comes down to how you operate on earth. And as we go through them, you'll understand what that means. Okay, so let's start with the root chakra and the adrenal glands. We're going to cover the adrenal glands first. The adrenal glands are these glands sit on top of your kidneys, okay? And they are in charge of your fight or flight response. What do I mean when I say that? Stress. Now, before we were working and driving and living this highfalutin lifestyle, we were cave women and men, okay? And if we saw a lion or a saber-toothed tiger, the adrenal glands would kick into high gear so that we could run away with as much energy as possible and survive. And it alerted us to what was going on, and it would take cortisol, shoot it throughout your body, which gave you a surge of energy necessary for survival's sake. Now, when you were a cave woman or a caveman and the saber-toothed tiger was chasing you, you were running, all right? And when you were running or hiding or doing whatever you were doing, you had a quicker response time. You were able to think faster than you needed to when you're just not doing any of this. And it gave you this pump of energy, okay? Now, if you've ever seen this in the wild, when an animal survives an attack, it vibrates. It starts shaking. And this is to help eliminate the cortisol that has surged in the body, bringing its levels back down so it go back to grazing in the field and living its life. All right. We don't do that, but we are still stressed like a saber-toothed tiger is chasing us, except for it's your boss yelling at you, or it's being stuck in traffic, or it's almost being late to pick your kids up at school, or it's having to get a document done by the end of the day and your body's freaking out. Your body don't know the difference between running from a tiger and a due date or a deadline, all right? So the adrenals are in charge of ensuring you have the energy that you need for survival's sake. But unfortunately, because of the world that we live in today, where stress seems to be how we survive, we have over pushed this element. When you have too much cortisol in your body and it has no place to go, inflammation is going to set in and it's going to start damaging your cells. Okay. Inflammation, number one root cause of all disease. Number one root cause of all disease. Number one root cause of all disease is inflammation. Don't forget that fact. So the adrenal glands in charge of the stress in your bodies. And unfortunately, we are constantly in a state of stress. Everything can get you in a state of stress. Poverty, state of stress. Traffic, state of stress. Relationship problems, kid problems, state of stress. And your body is just pumping out cortisol, pumping out cortisol, pumping out cortisol, and it's unbalancing your body. You don't have a way to get back down to homeostasis, a place of stillness where you can actually move through the world. Okay. I'm looking to have a real conversation with you about your energy levels. Tell me, be real for a second. Think about it. How's the coffee working? You having multiple cups a day and you're still tired? Or those naps, are you waking up more exhausted than when you went to sleep? It's all about the energy in your cells. If you're looking to increase your natural energy so that you can move through your day with purpose without collapsing, you need to work on the energy in the cells, period. The energy in the cells are what's powering your body up. You're just a collection of cells, nothing more, nothing less. Billions and billions of cells. And those cells are battery packs. And those battery packs take information in, use the information that it can, and excretes what it cannot. And if you're looking to power up your cells, I'm going to tell you to check out Shilajit. Why? It's all about the fulvic acid. The fulvic acid is where it's at. And Shilajit is about 80% fulvic acid. What is fulvic acid? Fulvic acid is the amino acid that makes the information on the inside of the cell, so that when you create the duplicate copies of the cell, you're creating a healthy duplicate copy. This is where that metabolism and that energy comes in. Taking just 0.05 grams 3 times a day is going to power you up, giving you the energy you need to fuel through your day. So listen up, my little battery pack. You can take it in 2 ways. You can get the honey sticks, meaning you can just easily add it to teas. I know you're taking my herbal remedies, my blood purifying, my womb healing teas, these things that are helping nourish your body. Add it. Just a little bit goes a long way. You can also take the resin, heat it up in a warm little pot of water, take that stick. It's going to have a pre-measuring device on there. All you got to do is add a tiny scant amount. You won't taste it. And you're providing the fulvic acid that your body is craving to help you restore the energy that you need to function on a day-to-day basis. Why aren't you getting that fulvic acid naturally? Well, it's because it's lacking greatly in our foods. You can tell me if you're eating 100% organic all the time, this might not be for you. But for the rest of us who may not be able to do that constantly, that is where we get the proper amount of fulvic acid. It's in the vegetables that comes from a healthy soil base that isn't grown with pesticides or synthetic fertilizers, okay? If you feel like you're eating too much junk food, processed food, things that come from a plant that don't grow from a plant, this is for you. If you feel like you can't afford to buy all of the organic produce that you would like, and who can? The grocery prices are insane. This is for you. If you feel like the nap's not working and the coffee ain't doing it, this is for you. It's time to energize your body so that you can thrive, okay? And I'm not going to leave you hanging. Go to shop.naturalshilajit.com/luluti-skincare. Use code Candace for 10% off. Obviously, that link is in the description. Enjoy. Now, the root chakra, which is attached to those adrenal glands, is in charge of survival. Located at the base of the spine, unlike the adrenal glands, which are on top of the kidneys, it's in charge of how you survive on Earth. Okay. Someone with a damaged root chakra has a really hard time for survival. They don't feel like they fitting in right here. They're stressed all the time. They can't make the amount of money that they need to. They're constantly in a state of poverty and they do not feel safe in their environment. Do you see the connection between these two things? Do you see how they work in tandem? So when you have a root chakra that is imbalanced, you do not feel safe in your own body, which is a state of stress. You don't feel like you can sit still and be yourself in a state of stillness, because what if the laundry needs to get done, or what if this bill is due, or what if this and what if that? All of these thoughts and these energy, it comes up just like an energy, just as much as it does a hormone in the body. Your body doesn't know the difference. Okay. When your body is in a parasympathetic state, that means that you are in the rest and digest state, as in your body is rested, you feel safe and relaxed and secure. When your body is in the sympathetic state, which we are constantly living in right now, you do not feel rest, safe, or secured. And like imagine eating when you eat when you're stretched and you feel like digestion issues, that's what that is. Now, the root chakra does manage the kidneys, but it also manages the intestines, the elimination system. It's in charge of some of the ovaries and the testes, the functioning there. And you will see libido issues if you are stressed. You will feel like you might have fertility issues if you are stressed. It's one of the main causes of infertility. You might even notice hip or joint problems. That's this base area of the body. And the kind of idea behind this is that it stretches all the way to the feet where we're connected to earth. That's a chakra we're not talking about, is the earth chakra that's connected to the feet. But it's like how you move through earth. Are you moving through earth in a state of fight or flight? Or are you moving through earth with ease? That's what that's covering here. That's why kind of the hips are involved in this idea. When I see someone for an energy reading and I know that they are stressed, the way that their hips are holding, the way that they're holding everything in, it's all located at the base of that spine in the root chakra. Now, you can manage balancing it from either working on the emotional connection, learning to feel safe and secure regardless of what's going on around you, right? Or from the physical function by managing those adrenal glands. We actually have an adrenal hydration blend that gives the body vitamin C for immunity, electrolytes, and it's got green tea in it and it's got sea salt in it. And what it does is help to restore the adrenal glands, because it's when your adrenals are stressed, your entire body becomes very tight and hydration and water can't get to where it needs to get to. You might even notice that you get eczema or psoriasis a lot. That's because the hydration isn't reaching the skin like it needs to reach it, because everything is so freaking tight. You'll notice that even your butthole is tight. Okay. So you got to learn to relax and release and allow this area to be. And again, you could work on the adrenal glands. You could take the drink. I'll have the description in the bio. Or you could focus on managing your stress and finding your stillness and saying, screw it all. I deserve to feel still. I can't get to where I need to get to and do what I need to do in a state of stress. All right. Meditation, ritual, taking time for yourself and self-care. These are all the ways to help manage this area of the body. Now we're going to talk about the sacral chakra, which is connected to the ovaries and the testes. And the sacral chakra, it sits. The root chakra, I told you, at the base of the spine. The sacral chakra is about an inch or two under the belly button. It kind of covers the digestive area and a little bit of the stomach area. All right. When you are dealing with problems with libido, when you're dealing with problems with fertility, when you're dealing with problems with not being able to get your sperm count up, when you're dealing with problems when you can't get it up, these are all sacral chakra issues. Sacral chakra is in charge of your emotional state when it comes to intimacy and how you share and connect with others. And unlike the root chakra, which is in charge of safety and security, intimacy, when you feel safe and secure in the root chakra, then that energy can come up to the sacral chakra, and then you can feel like you can connect more genuinely with another person, and you feel safe enough to feel intimate with them. Okay. Now, the sacral chakra is in charge of all intuitive, creative, and emotional energy. So it's where you create from. It's where you get that intuition. You hear it or you feel it in the stomach, butterflies in the stomach. You're feeling tight in the stomach. That's how you kind of know when something is or isn't right in your reality field. And it's really in charge of that sexual energy. Sexual energy is very connected to creative energy. Why? That's how we create and literally make life on the planet. It makes total sense. Now, this is connected to the adrenal glands that are the ovaries, testes, and I did not mention the prostate gland. I forgot to mention that. That is what I need to mention here. 2, all about the reproductive system, all about progesterone, all about the menstrual cycle, all about fertility, all about managing even the heart health and the function actually comes down to this area. Okay. So the ovaries and the testes are also connected to the pituitary and the hypothalamus, which is located up here. Remember that it kind of disrupts everything when the sacral chakra isn't working. Are you able to express your emotions? Are you just swallowing something and not saying what you need to say because you're trying to keep the peace? Are you able to feel safe enough to say and do what you need to say to express yourself? Are you feeling, fulfilling, fueling that sexual energy and that creativity inside of you? Or has religion or shame made it so that you don't get to express yourself? All sacral chakra, all ovaries, testes, prostate gland issues. They work again in tandem. PMS symptoms. Anytime you feel like men usually end up having a lot of problems here because they don't necessarily know how to express themselves. Not all men, obviously, but express themselves emotionally. And over time, they find that their libido decreases and they cannot produce as much sperm. And that is because this is all about how we connect to the other person and how we can share this emotional part of ourselves. So if you don't know how to express your emotions, it's affecting your ovaries, your testes, your prostate. If your libido is low, it's affecting your emotions, and they all kind of work in this coalesced way together. One more thing for women about the PMS. You ever notice you have to express yourself emotionally and you freaking want to blow up? And then your period comes, it's like the energy is moving down to release and it's hitting you at the sacral chakra and you have to get the emotions out to feel safe enough for the bleed. It's like you blow up. You have to learn to manage your emotions. This area is going to be triggered before your cycle begins. Next up, we have we have the pancreas and the endocrine system. We have the pancreas and the sacral chakra. These two work in tandem. So your pancreas sits inside the area kind of surrounding, it's next to the stomach. It's just above the small intestines. It's near the gallbladder and it's kind of nestled into your digestive area. Okay. And it is in charge of the digestive and elimination process. When your pancreas is messed up, it can really give you leaky gut syndrome, terrible digestive problems, ulcers, and it sits in the body where the sacral chakra is, a little bit above your belly button, kind of near it's under your diaphragm, and that's the sacral chakra's home as well. Sacral chakra is in charge of your willpower. I'm not going to call it the ego. I'm going to say it's your personality and your flavor and your style on earth, how comfortable you are in your own skin. It's got a lot to do with your drive on earth and how well you can achieve your goals. These two things work in tandem. And I've seen so many times where someone is not comfortable in their skin. They cannot reach their goals that they want to reach. And they have gut issues. Happens all the time. All right. The pancreas is really in charge of the enzymes necessary to really digest something or break down the food in the body for the elimination process. It's really there to help with that process. So if you really think about it, it's like you can't swallow something about yourself or you can't come to terms with who you are. It's like you can't digest it. I can't think of any other better way to say that. Where you can't be yourself in this body, that's where you're going to have problems, is in the pancreas. Pancreas is also in charge of the blood sugar levels in the body. It's about 95% of its function. So if you're having insulin problems, if you have diabetes, This has something to do with the ego center, the willpower in the body, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your role on earth, how you feel about who you are and how other people see you. And if you're okay with that, those two things work very much in tandem. Um, I want to mention here for a second that a lot of the things that you'll see online, they'll show an image of like the color of the chakras. And it is the Roy G. Biv. It is the color of the rainbow. It is the color light spectrum that we can see on Earth. We can only see 1% of the light spectrum. And it is the breakdown of the colors that we can see. Okay. But there is a back part of the chakra and a front part of the chakra, and it's got sides. It's bigger than the body. And if you imagine energy coming through, you being able to perceive it and projecting an image out, it almost is like it breaks down through the energy comes in and breaks down through the body. And then what you experience is what you perceive. And it's kind of what's in front of you. There's a back part of the chakra and a front part of the chakra. So on the back part of the chakra, when it comes to something like willpower, it would have a lot to do with not being able to take in compliments or take in ideas and do something with them on earth. Okay. While the front part is you actually manifesting that reality, that drive, that power, actually making it work for you to move you forward on earth. The back part would be the information that comes in that allows you to do that. That might be messed up as well. When it comes to the intimacy on the back, it's going to be being able to take in intimacy, being able to allow someone else to connect with you, while the front part is going to be how you give it. Okay. Next major endocrine system is the heart. Next major chakra is the heart. The heart is an endocrine gland. How? Because it's in charge of oxytocin. It's in charge of the circulatory system. It's in charge of that love hormone that we all need to connect with other people on earth. What's the difference between intimacy and love? Intimacy is more connected to the person. It could be your partner, it could be your child, it could be your parents, it could be your siblings, it could be your best friends that you are intimate with and you share certain things with. While that love frequency is for everybody. It's for the earth that you came in for. It's the life that you live. This love is what is everything is made from, okay? All of it is love. If someone were to tell you that there's a frequency in the world, the resonance is love. What you experience is either love or lack of love, all right? Now, the heart obviously pumps blood throughout the body, circulating everything and ensuring that all of your organs have the blood that they need to thrive. Behind the heart is the thymus. So, technically speaking, there are two glands working in one area for your body. So, while the heart is number one, the heart is considered the second brain. It has just as many neurons, it has just as many sensations, it is just as intelligent as the brain. You should be thinking from the heart. That's another conversation. We'll have it another time. But it does regulate digestion, hormones, the lymphatic system, and the body. The lymph water in your body's lymphatic system is just like the plumbing system in the body. All right. Once that water is cleansed, it goes to the heart, it becomes plasma. It's in charge of a lot more functions. But that oxytocin is all about how loved, how safe, the emotional bonding with the reality field, the pets, the everything around you. All right. The thymus gland that sits behind that heart is in charge of the T cells. It's the fighters for the immune system in the body. So it's there to work with the heart to ensure that it's protected. That is also an endocrine gland. Now, let's think about this a little bit more esoterically. So, if you think about obviously the heart is producing oxytocin in real time. So, that is the love hormone. It's all about forgiveness, emotional balance, being able to be around others in this reality field from an equal playing field, and learning how to give and find compassion for another. And it's funny because the thymus is in charge of the T cells and it's the protective element of the heart. And think about how love has to be protected. Thinking about how you protect what you love, you defend what you love, and how these two could work in tandem on an emotional level as well as a physical level to assist and facilitate action in the body. So you have this heart that's not only loving and supporting and nourishing every organ in the body with blood. You have this thymus gland that's not only loving, but defending the body with T cells to ensure that the immune system is working properly. But if you think about the feeling that you get in your heart when you have compassion for another person. It's a physical sensation as well as a spiritual sensation or an emotional sensation. And those emotions are run by the oxytocin in the physical heart. So you can already see that connection is so great that it can't really be denied. The back of the heart is all about how much love you allow from another person. How much compassion do you allow another person to give you? How much empathy do you allow another person to give you? And how much you do in the front is how much forgiveness and compassion you have for another person. How willing are you to receive is the back. How willing you are to give is the front. Next, we have the throat and the thyroid, okay? Let's talk about the thyroid gland first. Thyroid gland is in charge of weight, metabolism, how your body uses the energy that it has to function on Earth, okay? And how much energy it actually has to use. Thyroid gland is also in charge of growth and development, the temperature in the body, and how well that's regulated. Behind it, parathyroid gland, which is in charge of the muscular and the skeletal system, the calcium in the body, how strong your foundation is in the body. Now, imagine you get energy in and you metabolize it via the thyroid to use it throughout the body. You get thoughts in and you speak them to make action happen on Earth. It's through sound that everything has come to form, okay? Vibration is the resonance of every cell, and vibration is what allows sound to come out of our mouth, and vibration is the sound that comes out of our mouth that moves the field. Your throat chakra is in charge of how well are you able to express yourself on Earth? How can you say what you need to say when you need to say it? Are you saying it right? Are you saying it too harsh? Are you saying it too soft? How well you communicate. It literally is how well you take the information and get it out, okay? If you're being honest, if you're being real, if you're being authentic, it's all in the throat chakra. The throat chakra also manages the jawline, the ears, this entire area of the body. TMJ, all of this, you're not saying everything that you need to say all the time, and it's connected to both thyroid, the parathyroid, and the throat chakra, and there's a misbalance here. The teeth, all of this area, the little gland behind the throat that helps when you gag, that's in charge of this too. There's another chakra back there that we'll cover at another time, but all of this is managed by the throat chakra. Throat chakra imbalances can lead to bronchitis, can lead to asthma, can lead to feeling stuck with what you need to say. You feel like you got a frog in your throat, can lead to hoarseness or always having strep throat. You can say too much or you can say too little. It's up. That's both of those are an imbalance. It's when you know exactly what to say, when you need to say it, you know you have a balanced throat chakra. Now, the next gland is the pituitary gland, and it's actually connected to the third eye, not the pineal gland, which is connected to the crown, okay? But let's go over to the third eye and the pituitary gland. Now, the pituitary gland is the major conductor for everything in the body. So it regulates all functions. It is the main bitch in charge. Excuse my French. Everything is called the master gland. So everything from reproduction to weight management to how your body is regulating temperatures, all of that, it makes sure that everybody else is working how they're supposed to work in the body. Now, the third eye is all about intuition. If you're really on a high spiritual level, you know you can do so much more with the third eye. But just for the regular, everyday layman, every single person, this has a lot to do with how you see the reality field from this perspective of being able to see through BS and seeing the truth in a situation, regardless of what you're being told. Okay. And it's all about being able to see the vision for yourself in the future. If you have a mission on earth, if you came here to do something, if you have an idea, if you have the imagination, it's all about being able to visualize. And it doesn't have to be a real visualization where you actually see it. You see it in your mind of like, I want to build this house. I can visualize building this house. I can know where the tile is. And the thing is how good your imagination is for all of the other aspects. And if you think about it, is the imagination runs everything. You wouldn't do half the things you do if you hadn't imagined about it first. If you hadn't thought about being in love, you wouldn't want to even use your intimacy chakra or your heart chakra. If you hadn't thought about wanting to own a business or being this kind of person, you wouldn't need your ego center. It's all about, and if you imagine things to be scary, your root chakra is going to get involved. So it does help with all of the other chakras in the body. If you think about it before you say it, right? And so both of these are kind of like these master areas in the body that help regulate how something is seen, viewed, or used. So when you think of the back of the pineal gland and you think of energy coming in, it's the idea that, say, I want you to think about the idea of what came into the field when it came to, like, you had a vision. Okay, how you execute the vision and how you can see it and execute it is the front. The idea that an idea came in, and if it came in clean, you can execute a clean vision. You ever talk to somebody and you like, they telling you about an idea that they have and you're like, that's not gonna work. Okay, that just is all over the place. It's a little too scattered. They might most likely need to clean up the third eye. If you see someone who's easily convinced by everything that they see on television or read without any forethought about any other information, they probably need to clean out their third eye. They're easily gullible, is the word that I would use. They don't see through the BS. You will see a lot of people like that right now. Being able to see the truth, irregardless of what you're being told, really strong third eye. Being able to know something, it's kind of like intuition, but it's a little bit different. That's the third eye. And it's a really good time to talk about perception. Okay. So, what is perception? I could be in a room and you could be in the room and we could be looking at the same things and we're going to have completely different ideas about what that thing is. We might see the same color, it might have the same backstory, and we might have two completely different ideas about that one thing. Every single person on earth has their own perception based on their thoughts, their beliefs, how they were raised, what they were told, what they were taught, all of it, right? It's incredibly individual and unique to each of us, which is why we can all have such different ideas on this one freaking, not even planet, let's just say Earth. Shoot. We all got this own idea of what we think this place should be and how we think it should be that way. So we all have our own perception. The third eye is in charge of that perception of how you see the field. Now, it's muddled up with all this other stuff. It's based on what somebody may have told you, even if it wasn't true when you were a kid. It's based on all of these ideas and these beliefs that you were indoctrinated with, just based on the idea that we all were indoctrinated with something. We were told a race, we were told a country, we were told a gender, we were told some of us a God, some of us a religion. Think about the history we were told in our schools. All of this is this perception in this field. All right. When you can start seeing this field with less of your BS muddled into it and see it more cleanly and more purely without so much of the fluff or the falsities, that's when you are cleaning up the perception of everything. When you can clean this body out, let's go back to the pituitary gland, and you can get your hormones and everything. This is the master gland, right? That's when you can clean out everything. It's in charge of all of it. Everything runs from the perception. You wouldn't do half the things you do if you didn't think that they should go a certain way. Everything runs from the master gland. Half the organs and the hormones in your body wouldn't work if this gland wasn't making sure that everything was doing what it needs to do. Okay. Now, the last is the crown chakra and the pineal gland. Pineal, it's potato, right? So pineal gland is a pine cone shaped gland, and it sits right above the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland almost looks like balls. Don't tell anybody I said that. But the pine cone like gland that sits above it, it's a very empty space. It's filled with fluid, and it really is almost, if you were to consider it like an electrical antenna and a liquid casing, and that liquid is how a current would move. It's your antenna. It is the beacon. And before we were dumb, that's how I know I'm coming to the end of this, because I'm getting a little reckless. Before we were dumb, and back when we were running from the saber-toothed tiger, we had a compass similar to what birds have, or what a lot of animals have when they can get around without a physical compass, right? We knew where we were and the location of this earth. And many scientists will talk about how we don't need the pineal gland anymore because it has calcified over it, mostly because we don't use that facility or that faculty anymore in our body. But if you have ever had a spiritual experience, it came in through the pineal gland, and you know what I'm talking about. So it is a pine cone shaped gland, very center of the brain, and the third, and it does work with the third eye, and it connects to the crown, and the crown chakra is actually what connects us to our source or our most high or our belief system or our universe or our higher self. It's for those, it is the belief system. It is literally like if you were to think about you being almost like a puppet, it would be the string that connected you to the sky where your higher self would be guiding you through the world. Okay. Now, the pineal gland, while mystical, has some physical things that it still does. It's in charge of the thought process. Okay. It does play a role also, like the pituitary, in imagination. Sorry, not the pituitary, like the third eye. Okay. It also is responsible for secreting melatonin to help you sleep. But it also does this really cool thing, and they're called glial cells. Now, glial cells are these calcium messengers that pass signals chemically rather than hormonally. Like hormones pass signals electrically throughout the body. Glial cells pass signals chemically. So it's like this chemical messenger is like conducing something over here to here without having to move through a neuron. They send messages across the body for neuron healing, for injury, for repair, anything that's in the body that's a pathogen. That pineal gland will come in and say, hey, something's wrong. You need to go over there and do this. This nerve's messed up. You need to repair that. It's a really cool thing. Glial cells are pretty cool, and they make up about 90% of the brain cells. They're non-neuron cells, and they actually help and support the neurons, but they're kind of like these really cool magical cells that we have that scientists don't even know how we got them. Okay. But the pineal gland also is in charge of, like I said, melatonin, the sleep wake cycle that happens in the body. That is the physical, we know, gland. This is what it does. On a spiritual level, it connects us to our higher power and our higher source. It's where more information can come into the field. And if you know anything about manifesting, it's like the vision comes in from the higher self. You see it with the imagination. You speak about it with the throat. You feel it and see if it aligns with you in the heart. You power forward with them with the sacral chakra. You connect with other people about it with the, with the solar plex. Sorry, you power forward with it with the solar plexus. You connect with other people about it intimately in the sacral chakra, and then you move it and bring it to earth with the root chakra. That's just a little bit about manifesting. But this is connected to the higher source. And when that crown chakra is open, you know you came here for more. You know that there is maybe even just, if you thought of us all being one on some divine level, you think of having a higher power. When it's blocked, you might be in a cult. You might be very dogmatic, or you feel lost on earth when it's blocked and you can't really move forward because you don't have a belief system. That's really what the chakra is all about. It's hope, faith, awareness, consciousness, and truth. And think about that again for the second. The pineal gland is in charge of the thought process. What is the thought process? It's your false beliefs. It's your real beliefs. It's the perception that you came in with. It's the thinking of the negative or the positive. It's how you think, right? While this pineal gland chakra connection, the seventh chakra, is if you're thinking with hope, faith, awareness. Do you have this level of fulfillment, or are you held back by dogmatic beliefs or lack of self-love or a misunderstanding of spiritual principles? That is the two different ideas that's kind of coming through with this pineal gland. So this is what it's all about. And when you open up this seventh chakra, you have more faith. You believe in something a little bit more purely, and you're able to use it on earth to get what you want. All right. And when you work on the pineal gland, your thought process, you clean it up. You have those thought spirals. That's how you clean up those thought spirals if you want to activate the pineal gland. And what does that mean? You have 8,000 thoughts a day, about 70% of them the same things. How many times are you going to think about if you need to walk the dog? It's just an energy spark going out that you could never get back. It's a waste of energy. All right. That is everything that I have about the endocrine system and the chakra system and how they work in tandem. And I hope that helps you better understand how these two elements work together. I do want to end with saying, if you listen to my podcast video blog about phthalates and you have a better understanding or you know anything about the chakras and the endocrine system, this is why it's so imperative that you detox the body, because there is an attack on our health on an emotional and a physical basis when we have toxins we're ingesting constantly that disrupt these systems. Is disrupting more than just a hormone, which is bad enough, but it's actually disrupting a spiritual center as well, and or you could even just call it an emotional center as well, and it's messing with you on a level you don't even know about, where depression and anxiety and um, lack of self-love could be coming in from outside the field. It might not always be you. So really be crucial and diligent about what you ingest, you inhale, you put your family and yourself around, because it could be affecting you on more levels than you really know about it. When we started Luluti Skincare, or when I started Luluti Skincare, I really wanted to focus on the lymphatic system and the endocrine system. And we're going to get more into the vagus nerve system on here as well, because I knew that those elements in the body were crucial for health. Your lymphatic system runs all the plumbing in your body, so it moves all the water around. You're about 80% water, right? When that system is jammed up, you feel pain, you get breakouts, you don't feel like yourself, you can't eliminate properly, the nutrients don't get to where they need to be. It messes up your whole system, especially your skin. When the endocrine system is messed up, you feel less valuable on earth. You are stressed, you are not fertile, you can't, your period's all messed up. Again, this affects your skin issues and the vitality of the inside of your body, which is why it's so important that you put the things in your body that are good for you instead of gunk, that you clean up the body from the inside, and really hone in on your health, because it really is affecting how you move a day, your day to day, and how you move about every portion of your day. Okay. And just your life in general. These things, you could be tired all the time and you have no idea why. And it could be because your endocrines have been disrupted and you're thinking you're not getting enough sleep and you're thinking you're not doing enough on your end, but you could be doing every single thing that you could be doing correctly, and it could still be messing with your system. So we want to ensure that you feel your best and you can operate at your highest level. That's really our mission here, okay? That's what vitality means to us. So really ensure that you are putting the right things in and you are paying attention to how you feel and what you're thinking about and what belief systems that you're tying yourself to, and if they're working for you or against you, all right? That's all I have for you today. I'm Candace with Luluti Skincare. I hope you guys have a fabulous day and you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please give it a rating that is 5 stars. Okay, I'm tripping now, but please, give us a good rating. Comment, let me know what you thought about the podcast, YouTube, blog. You can always watch, read, and listen. Check us out on lulutiskincare.com. You get 20% off your first purchase when you sign up for our newsletter. And our newsletter includes amazing information like what you just heard. I'm always researching. I'm always looking to learn something new so that I can present you with information that will blow your mind. All right. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again.